This week, our story is Battles of the Heart. Now, last week, we met Shema, Abinadab, and Eliab, brothers who were soldiers in the Israeli army. They were scared of something that went stomp, stomp, stomp. Now, who remembers what that was? Who remembers? What was it?
Goliath?
Goliath! It was Goliath. See? Do you want to see him there? Goliath? Yeah. That's right, Goliath. We also met David. He looked after his dad's sheep. Now, looking after sheep was boring, wasn't it? Was it boring looking after sheep?
Something scary in the cave.
That's right, there was something scary. What was the something scary?
A lion.
A lion, that's right. It was a great big lion. So looking after sheep wasn't boring, was it? He did. He bumped him on the head. That's right. Now, we also met Jether, who wanted to marry David's sister. Just so you know, he did. In the book of Chronicles, it said that Jether married David's sister Abigail.
With the arm?
He had his stick with his staff. With his stick, he hit the lion on the head. Now, this week, we remember that Jesse was going to ask David to go see his brothers in the army. When David went to see his brothers, he took a great big sack of corn. Can you see the corn there?
Yeah.
Yeah? It was so big, it was like carrying 40 litres of milk.
Yeah. That's
Or,
4 cups.
no, close to 40 of those. Yeah, close to 40 of those in our refrigerator. In America, it would have been 9 gallons of milk. That's a lot of corn, isn't it?
Yeah.
He did, but we missed on. David also took 10 loaves of bread. Do you see our bread? Okay, let's look at our story. We did 10 loaves of bread and 10 big blocks of cheese for his brother's officers. Now, an officer is like another way of saying a boss in the army. The Bible doesn't say that David might have taken his harp. See his harp over there? David liked to play his harp. You see, King Saul used to get really, really bad moods, but he liked it when David would play his harp. And when he played his harp, nice pretty songs and singing about God, it would make King Saul feel better. David might have thought that King Saul would be a little bit grumpy after being at war for over a month, so he might have taken his harp to make King Saul feel better. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that David sang while he travelled, because David wrote a lot of songs. One of them is not quite the song we're about to sing. We learned it last week, remember, James? But it's a little bit close to that one. Do you remember when we sang it? That the Lord is my shepherd, I'll walk with him always. He leads by still waters, I'll walk with him always. Always, always, I'll walk with him always. Always, always, I'll walk with him always. If I have received him, he keeps my heart from sin. At home or on the playground, he helps me live for him. For him, for him, he helps me live for him. For him, for him, he helps me live for him. That's right. Well, David travelled a long way, but finally he got to the brook Kidron. Do you see our brook up there? Now nice water. There were thousands of soldiers. And how was David going to find his brothers with so many people? So he left all his corn
and a tree.
Wow, very close. Good job, James. No, he didn't climb the tree. He left all his corn and his bread and his cheese with the men who were looking after everybody's stuff, and he went looking for his brothers. Now, when you're looking for somebody, you call out, Eliab, Abinadab, Shema, where are you? Hey, David asked somebody, have you seen my brothers, Jesse's sons? And you know what that soldier said? He pointed to the tree, just like you said. He said, I think I saw them under there over the tree. Thanks. David beamed and he headed towards the tree. And then he started.
He was.
They were. That's right.
He did climb the tree. Way
no,
high.
He didn't climb the tree. He saw his brothers over near the tree. Eliab, Abinadab and Shuma. What are you doing here? Jamie, it's time to listen now. Eliab asked, what are you doing here? Father sent me with corn and bread for you to eat, David said. Now, does anybody remember there was one more thing? There was corn, there was bread, and what was the other thing? Cheese. Good job, Blake. There was also cheese. Now, while David was talking with his brothers, he heard something go. Thump, thump, thump. What do you think it was, Jamie? That went thump, thump, thump.
It's Goliath.
Goliath. Good job. It was Goliath. He was coming over the hill again. I wonder.
And find something scary in the cave. It was.
Okay, Goliath, it's time to listen now. I wonder what David thought when he first saw the shiny helmet coming over the hill. I know he wasn't scared because David was very brave. He knew that God would always protect him. David was a bit curious though, so he listened carefully to what Goliath had to say. Armies of Israel, hear me. Why should we all go to battle? I challenge you to one-on-one combat. Look, Jamie, look at our fingers. Here, whoops, let's try to get it in the middle. One-on-one combat. If your man beats me, then we will all serve you and you'll be the boss. But if I beat him, then you will all serve me. Now remember, that's what Goliath has been saying for the last 40 days. Now, sitting nice and still, David turned around to ask his brothers about Goliath, but they were all gone. They'd run and hid. Everybody had run and hid. There wasn't anybody there. All the soldiers had gone. There's the thinking. No, let's not do that. David poked his head into a tent, and he found several men in there, hiding and shaking with fear. What's going on? David asked.
What's that, Ted?
You'll see in a minute. Why aren't any of you fighting Goliath? Are you kidding? He's huge. He'd kill us, a soldier hissed. Who is he anyway?
He's mad.
Yes, he is mad. That's what the face is mad. Now, shh, listen. Who is he anyway? David shrugged. God doesn't fight for Goliath. God is on our side. Has King Saul promised anything to the person who defeats Goliath? Oh, yes, the soldier leaned forward eagerly. King Saul has promised him, look, what's there? What's that? King Saul has promised great riches, lots of gold and money. He'll get to marry the princess. And all of his father's house will be free. Then why aren't poor David didn't get to finish his question. Because Eliab grabbed David and pulled him out of the tent. What are you doing? Eliab was really, really mad. You lied. You didn't come down here to bring us food. I bet Papa didn't even send you. You just came to see the fighting because you were bored of watching a few sheep in the wilderness. I know you. You are proud and naughty. Sometimes when we're scared, we get mad at people. There, see, mad. See, he's mad. Sometimes when we're scared, we get mad at people when they're not scared, especially when you're the oldest and it's your little brother who isn't scared. Or when someone else is doing the right thing and we don't want to do the right thing. It can make us feel bad and we say things that aren't nice. That's what happened with Eliab. He got a bit embarrassed because David was doing the right thing. Well, what do you think David did when Eliab said all those nasty lies about him? What do you think he did? Sometimes we might get mad. But not David. David said, what did I do? Isn't it important to fight?
He's happy.
That someone fights Goliath.
He's happy.
That's right, he is happy. Now that was David's first battle. That's a funny battle, isn't it?
He wins.
He did. Some people say that it was his most important battle.
Happy when he.
Yeah, now let's listen for a little bit.
Bit.
Okay, now let's listen for a little bit. David, he could have gotten mad about the lies that Eliab told him because we know that Jesse did send David. And David wasn't bored looking after sheep. He loved his sheep, and fighting lions is not boring. But David didn't get mad at Eliab. He didn't try to hurt his brother either with mean words. David was kind, and he forgave his brother. Yes, Blake.
Honestly, if that was the guy, then he won't be born getting eaten.
No. All right. You right? Careful. All right. Now, let's find where I was in the story. Okay. David was kind and he forgave his brother, even though... No. Yes, I'm still talking. Now, wait. Okay. It's time to listen. David forgave his brother, even though Eliab wasn't even sorry. It's really hard to forgive people who are not even sorry. But David did the right thing. He won the battle in his heart. Here's your heart. That made God very happy. And when God is happy, he helps us to do mighty things. I think you know what mighty thing that David did next. But you might even be wrong about what the mighty thing was that David did next. So you'll have to wait till next week to see what mighty thing that David did next. I don't know. You'll have to wait and see next week if it's the one you think. Now, our Bible verse that we learned last week was, be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. For the Lord thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou goest. Joshua 1 verse 9. Now, who was strong and brave in our story? Who was that? What's his name?
Blake.
Not Blake. It's good. Blake can sometimes be very strong and brave. Do you know who it was?
David.
David was strong and brave in our story.
I can't lift you up that hard.
Tora, do you know why he was strong and brave? It's in our... Don't hit buttons, please, James. Do you know why he was strong and brave? Do you know why? Because David knew that God was with him. Just like our Bible verse said. Our Bible verse said that God was with us always. And David knew that. That's why David was strong. Now, Jamie, what's wrong with this house?
It's broken.
It is. What's it missing?
Some pieces.
It's missing some pieces.
Missing the roof.
It's missing the roof and some of the walls on top of the roof, isn't it? Now, what would happen if our house didn't have any walls?
We get wet, except for even though we have.
You'd get wet? And what about the wind when it's cold in winter? And you'd get cold? What about, where are you going to hide all your special treasures?
Might as well just live in a tent.
Might as well live in a tent, yeah. But what would happen if you didn't have anywhere to keep your special treasures?
In the bottom.
Oh, no. In the bottom, that's right. The bottom half has got walls, but the top half does not. You couldn't keep anything safe in the top of our house because it's missing bits. Now, the Bible verse that we have this week says, he that has no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. So, if we don't control the thoughts of our mind and the feelings in our heart, we're like a house without any walls. Now, come on. It means that we're going to get in a lot of trouble. But there was someone, David had rule over his spirit because he didn't get mad at his brother, did he? Did David get mad? No, David was nice. And he didn't get in trouble. He did good things. But there was someone else in our story. Not David's brother. There was someone else right at the start of our story that used to get really bad moods. Can you remember who that was?
Saul.
King Saul, that's right. King Saul. What would David do to make King Saul feel better? The harp. That's important for us too.
I don't see that one.
Yeah, do not push buttons. This is the last one. Now, we're just looking at it. King Saul knew that playing music helped him feel better. Now, when Mummy doesn't feel good and I've got bad thoughts in my head and bad feelings in my heart, I like to go for walks because the sunshine and the air makes me feel better. And Jamie, what does Jamie like? Jamie likes cuddles and kisses. That makes Jamie feel better. It gets rid of all of your bad thoughts. Like, do you know what you do when you've got bad thoughts? What do you do?
Yeah.
Do you think about what you like to do to make you feel better when you've got bad thoughts? Okay. Well, sometimes it's raining outside and we can't go for a walk. Is that right, James? Thump. Yes, that's what Goliath did. Sometimes it's raining and we can't go for a walk, can we? No, but Mummy puts music in her ears, don't I? And I walk in the kitchen. Sometimes I get so happy I start skipping in the kitchen, don't I? Yes.
And you don't jump, huh?
That's right. It's important to learn ways that make us feel better. When we have bad thoughts and bad feelings in our hearts, think of ways that help us to feel better so we can win the battles in our heart. Those are very important. Now, Jamie, where's the heart? There's the heart down there. You can still see it. See the heart? So I want you to think about things that you can do to win the battle in your heart, to control your thoughts and your feelings. We'll read our Bible verse again, and then we're going to be all done till next week. Yes.
There is one way to do it.
What?
To get rid of bad thoughts. Sit on a pile of Lego and be more concentrated on the pain.
Yes, that's something. But I'm talking about nice things. Let's do nice things. Alrighty. No. We're going to read our Bible verse and be all done. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. Now, we want to be like the bottom half of our house that's got walls and doors, doesn't it? We don't want to be like the roof that's got lots of problems. We want to control our thoughts and our hearts. Now we're going to say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Till next week.